Let's talk about Evmux, dynamic scenes versus pro scenes. We're going to take a look at what dynamic scenes gives you versus what the pro scenes give you and try to help you make a choice on what's going to be the best for you. So first of all, we're over here in our Evmux session and we're going to look at what we can do with these different type of scenes to create our content and see what's going to work out best for us. So first of all, our dynamic scene, it says that it's a way for you to manage your streams or recording instantly using awesome layouts and branding. So basically, this is your entry point into what you're doing in Evmux. It's the simplest way to set up. It has preset templates for where you and your guests will be on the screen, and you can transition back and forth between each. You can highlight your guests as you need to. But again, this is the simplest way to get in. So let's take a look at what we have here. So on this dynamic scene that I have set up, I do have an overlay image, and I also have my camera added to the scene. So if I want to show my camera, all I have to do is click on one of these preset items here. So we see that we have a number of different options we can add to the scene. We can add video clips, we can add overlay, and I do have an overlay on here right now. So this would cover anything else that we have on the screen. As we move down the list, we see we can add other elements. So let's see, if I close off overlay, I can also change the background. So this will show what is going to go behind our cameras as we bring them onto the screen. So for example, I can come over to my overlay, and since like I say, I have overlay on the screen, I'm going to go ahead and hide it. Then it's going to show what I have set to be on the screen. And I have my camera shot, and in this case, I have a PowerPoint presentation. So again, we have our preset frames for our inputs, and we have one that shows each of the elements along with the background behind it. This one will show everything in full scale. And then one that I know a lot of people are using, like if they're doing a PowerPoint or something along with the camera, is this setting here. What it does, you can have one of the images take up the majority of the screen and the other one would be inset in like a picture in picture. So if I wanted to switch this, and I can either say spotlight, which would allow me to show that PowerPoint full size, or I can take it and drag it up so that it takes up the full screen, and then the camera image is down in the lower left hand corner. So this is really what you have with your dynamic scenes. You have some different elements that you can add to the screen, but you do have some limitations on what can be shown there and how everything shows up. If you have a logo that you want to add to the screen, you can do that. For example, if I wanted to add my avatar here, I can bring it up, and then I have the option to size it down. But you see it has it pinned to the top right hand corner. Again, this is part of how everything is being done in your dynamic scenes. We're going to see in just a minute, once we get over to pro scenes, you do have more options. Okay, so let's take a look at what we can do here with our pro scenes. In pro scenes, you do have a lot more flexibility on how your scenes are constructed. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my pro scene here, and we see that when I switch to this side, I do have the ability to select my camera. I can move it, wherever I would like it on the screen. I can do the same thing with my company logo. And in this case, this is actually a video file that over time changes. So it shows one of my company logos, it fades out, and then it shows the logo for Tech Lab Studios. We can do the same thing here with my avatar. I can take it, I can resize this as I see fit. I can put it wherever I want it on the screen. And these are some of the things that you can do here in Pro Scenes, but you don't have the option to do that over in Dynamic Scenes. Okay, so let's come down here and say, for example, I'm doing my PowerPoint presentation. So we're going to switch to I have set up for that, and that's a classroom background setting. And we have our PowerPoint presentation in here, and I have my image over here to the left hand side. Now, again, we have the functionality and the freedom to move this image however we want. We can crop it if we want to. We can also come in here and change the shape. So if I wanted to put it into a circle, we can do that, and then we can size it down as we see fit, and that would work just fine. So that's one of the big things that you have at your advantage in Pro Scenes, is that you can make changes like that. So here I have the scene that is showing the PowerPoint, but my image has been removed. It is in the background so that the audio still comes through. That's an important point to keep in mind, is that for your audio to be available on the scene, you have to be on the scene, but you can be hidden behind everything else. So again, if I wanted to have this PowerPoint scene come up and pretty much cover the entire canvas, I can click here and it does that. So now, again, we have more control on how everything is being done. So the important thing about this for your Pro Scenes is that it's going to take some planning and forethought to create your scenes exactly the way that you want it to be. But that goes along with being able to customize everything. The dynamic scenes gives you a quick, easy way of doing it. The pro scenes gives you a much more detailed way of handling things. And I think that's going to work a lot to your advantage. So that's one thing for you to keep in mind as you're going through your thought process on whether you want to use pro scenes or dynamic scenes. I myself use pro scenes in almost everything that I do, because I do want to have that level of customization in my creative process. So if you have any questions about this, just let us know and we'll go into more detail on what you can do with pro scenes in Evmux.